On Wednesday, September the 12th, 2018, I posted Anachronism 2792, and this one's a long one. I actually tried to record it once before and got interrupted by a phone call, so it is a long one. But, and today's the 14th of October, 2023, just for reference. So this would have been done about 5 years ago. 5 years ago in a month. It's called I Can Be My Own BOLINAS. That's in all caps. And in parentheses underneath it, Part 1, Walking from Home to the Intersection of Klonopin and Malice Cooper. I'm stepping over a mint green pill on the sidewalk on the way to my doctor's office, located on Cap Street, around a block from the 16th Street BART station. My appointment is with Dr. Sharon, the doctor I had for the year that ended 7 months ago, in which I was on Medi-Cal. I have visited regularly, especially since medical benefits are about the best possible thing that can come from homeless, as far as I can tell. It is called Mission Neighborhood Resource Center, and it is a free clinic for folks such as myself, who are not free people, pretty much the opposite it seems at times, but folks who are instead generally free of finances, of residences, and this is a place we go. And one of the many reasons I love it is because every time I walk into the office, I feel like I'm walking onto the set of an Almodovar film. I'm on one of the 3 or 4 versions of Medi-Cal that can be assigned to folks with the freedom mentioned earlier here in San Francisco. Confusing, but nevertheless, at least it seems to me, the absolute best part about being jobless and homeless here. Any medical issue I've encountered since being free enough to get this perquisite, the bias and condescension by many medical staff who have helped me to be on my healthy, happy way is free as well. But these things are from emergency room visits, in particular to St. Francis, a few blocks from where I lived for 16 years before being evicted from and it's really 13 years, before being evicted from my lovely home, and for things like severe panic attacks or the bout of pneumonia I slammed into last October, during which time I was sunk into my shelter cot, number 13, top bunk, middle of the room that holds nearly 100 men at night, and still holds the same, if not more, but now I'm on bunk 43, on top again, which is my preference. The new one is located at a busy spot adjacent to one of the main showers and bathrooms, and right next to the mop closet. But except for the bed bugs and dealing with daily fights and the occasional, well, overly occasional thus far this go-round, as there have been 2 in the last week, which I have no choice but to witness and even to provide some assistance, drug overdose. Bed for nearly 2 weeks, barely crawling down to even eat. During that time, someone stole my wallet and my phone from the very bed in which I slept. A common occurrence, and one of the few common occurrences which has kept me from obtaining solid employment. These are things that passed swiftly and cinematically through my head as I was headed to a checkup, which in retrospect I can happily report led to my very first dental exam and cleaning in around a decade, and along with that will be followed soon, purportedly, by my first eye exam in several years, which will mean a new pair of glasses for me. Exciting. And I have not worn, new or old, any glasses, at least with real lenses included within them, in at least a few years, and which look a bit appropriate at interviews, in my opinion. That is, if you have any sense of style at all. And while I believe that I will be interviewing again very soon, I need a job search-worthy smartphone, which, thanks to many gracious folks, will be arriving into my hands in very short measure. I will nevertheless need anything that might even possibly give me a bit of added panache, because my recent experiences at trying to impress have been less than impressive, and I need to impress, need intensely to impress. I need plenty to get there still, but I'm about to dig in as deep as possible to do so. It would appear that such seemingly silly stuff as a pair of glasses, at least in my world now, has become much more important than it used to be, at least during the first 28 years journey through my career. So, I shall have my eyes tested at Zuckerberg's San Francisco General Medical and Trauma Center, a name which sounds nicely like home to me, even though most everyone around here still calls it simply General. Like the few holdouts who go to Pac Bell Park to see their Giants play, a park that has been non existent for nearly a decade now. All of this at the corner of Mission and DuBose. As I step over a blister-packed Klonopin, a drug I've never been prescribed at that point. So, how do I feel sure about what it is over which I step? I catch myself mumbling an answer of sorts, something about how it's simply one of those odd and mostly unnecessary things one picks up in my particular world, I suppose. During those moments when I find myself more curious than depressed or anxious, the irony, yes, but also, happily, time frames which are over time increasing. As I step over the pill, briefly considering picking it up, I don't. I notice that across Mission, at the brick and mortar, a venue I have seen, in which I have seen a performance or two, but feel surely whenever that was the venue had a different name. Seems eons ago, with long ago friends who now only exist in my head, present-day ghosts I wonder about often, but rarely, if ever, hear a word from, really never, or even spot in any of my social network feeds, where they often used to appear in large percentages within photographs that were taken by me over the years, or in person, even though we live in the same square and smallish city. The marquee reads Malice Cooper, and it gets me to wondering what kind of performance this Malice Cooper might present to the probably now absurd young and San Francisco audience. A mixed group of yuppies and Alice Cooper fans certainly does not compute to me, but I'm quite likely incorrect in any of my quick assumptions or thoughts about this inevitable event. It is a cover band who only performs music originally done by Alice Cooper? Is it a cover band? That is, of course, my first thought. I can't recall a single Alice Cooper song, to be honest, but surely there must be one that would at least ring some sort of bell. For some reason, Alice Cooper seems to be some enlarged significance today, as compared to what? Me reading their name on a marquee at a popular venue, or because of whatever opinion or popularity they had or have in my own limited head, which is simply the beginning sketches of a formation of a notion looking from the perspective of the moment and into a few moments of my youth. But why do I think the original Alice Cooper might be perhaps now worthy of a biopic, revealing something of importance, something that could be deduced into a present-day relevance? Perhaps. Any such analysis of anything from the past could be regarded with that notion. And maybe it is, I believe, right this moment, safe to say, that one might gather a tidbit of importance from looking back at anything, be it supergroup, small shared moment in time that can be recorded for posterity, filmed, dance, recital, family gathering, finding a stack of books you read when you were a kid, a couple of x-rays of just about anything that can be x-rayed. Maybe this Malice Cooper is in no way has any real relation to its less malicious namesake. Perhaps it's a means to gather attention, to simply get anyone to show up. Maybe one or two of them may listen, wondering why the name Malice Cooper, both being fans of the Alice Cooper and yet absolutely love this Malice. On the other hand, there is the possibility that fans of the band whose first name was also the maid's name in the Brady Bunch, and whose last name is the name of a currently popular actor who is reviving a movie he's directing, made famous by a young woman whose popularity skyrocketed during the time period when the original band formulated, began trying to make a name for itself, might arrive at the venue, order a beer or two, waiting for the night's performance, only to be completely mortified by what they saw as they wondered aloud to each other how anyone could vandalize the music of the great Alice Cooper. Perhaps there's a woman in attendance, usually keeping her distance from the rest of the crowd, seemingly lost in some corner with a cocktail in her hand, whose name is Barbara Cooper, a woman who revels in sadness at local concerts of all kinds. We might imagine, as I did, the horror or sheer adventure of such a new and unexpected discovery. If any of the concert attendees did not even see the M in front of the rest of the headliner name on the marquee at the brick and mortar at the northwest corner of Dubose and Mission Streets one recent afternoon, and still oblivious, immediately decided upon their plans for that night. These were just some of the things I was thinking, perhaps embellished a bit for flair, at just that one intersection during my pleasant walk to my doctor's office one morning last week, as I stepped over a blister-packed singular pill of what was, I think, Klonopin.